This feels like a toy. This thing is so plastic and cheap, so much so that comparatively to something like my XM5, which is what I'm recording on, or even my old Nikon Z30, when I thought this was small, like this is bite size. It's like a bite-sized candy you would get on like Halloween, comparative to like an AirPods case. Look at the size of it. This thing is smaller than my 16 Plus. This little guy is the Fuji X-Half. And I was able to test it over the weekend. I actually gotta go return it in the next like hour, but I was able to test this over the weekend. This video is not sponsored by Fujifilm at all. This is all my own opinions, so take it as you will. No disclosure, just me, sponsored by me. But this little guy is super plasticky. It's small, it's compact, but it's kind of a powerhouse in itself, and I have mixed feelings for it. I actually really loved using it over the weekend. However, I did find some issues running into it that I didn't expect from a camera that is $750. Like, look, take it with a grain of salt what people say. The whole idea of, oh, you need to be able to shoot RAW with this. It only shoots JPEG, or the videos are only 1080p. That's not what this camera is about. This camera is a nostalgia factor. This camera is for people who want to have that same feelings of shooting with like film, but in a digital world. Everything from film simulations, from the whole film development process, being able to take half frame shots 2-in-1, that it's all a mixed bag of itself that just takes you back to the early like 90s, maybe the early 2000s, when you just had point and shoots. And once it was done, you sent that camera off to go get developed, like those instant cameras. Or not instant, but those, quick one and done cameras. Or even be able to take a roll of film and send it to ship and see what it comes out with. The whole, how does it process? How does it look? You take the shot and you don't think about it. That's what the Fuji X-Half's about. And it challenged me as someone who's been in this digital world. From shooting on cameras like what I'm shooting on now, the XM5, or even more recently, walking around streetwise with a camera like the XE5, right? It's these devices that make me and my stuff better. Like, this makes me think a little bit and stuff, but it challenges me. Maybe just because it's so simple versus what this can do, right? Like, using I never realized how spoiled we are with an electronic viewfinder versus an optical viewfinder. Not even being able to see what I'm composing, right, is a whole different thing in itself. Like, maybe this should be the screenshot, like this. But not being able to see just how it's going to look. You're framing, you're composing. That's it. You don't see anything else. And then there's a lot of things that challenge me about this. I'm going to let myself talk from yesterday. So I recorded a whole video last night about this in the heat of the moment, and I'll let past Joe talk about that. So Joe, kick it away. It has a single card slot under here, 126 battery. I have my KNF under here, USB-C port for charging, transferring. You have your flash control right here as well via a switch. Other than that, you have your exposure compensation, play and stills in the back, and an aperture control right here. Everything else is controlled through this touchscreen in the back. You can do things such as like blends of photos and movies that just are such different ideas that you could do and create. Like, I'm creating one right now that if I stop it, it's going to put together a full photo / video compensation that I could easily just download on my phone and throw it to the cloud. Like, it's doing it all right now, and it's time, and now it's done. And it's funny, it's aimed for that younger crowd. But then I hear about people who bought this for their like 20-year-olds, and they don't even take it out the box. This is perfect for people who are up and coming photographers, or they want to get into something a little bit more traditional, more nostalgic, without having to break the bank and go full film. It's a very good hybrid of that. It's not as fast as something like an XM5, an XE5, or any other current Fuji lineup, as far as processing, taking the photos, turning it on, and stuff like that. But it's pretty powerful nonetheless, and it holds its own in certain aspects. I missed shots this weekend probably more than I've ever done with any other camera. But when I took those photos, even though they were blurry or they were slightly missed, it just felt different. It felt unique. And I think that's the joy of this type of camera. Now, let's talk about the good stuff. It's very pocket friendly. It's small. It's super lightweight. It's compact. The photo modes themselves, it's very plentiful when it comes to that. Things that I had issues with. Part of it is just being a photographer. An optical, viewfinder, that is pretty close, but at the same time, you don't get any indication you're taking a photo. Like, you get this light on the side, but what I notice is that I can't always see the light when I'm focusing through the viewfinder. It would have been cool to have a light or some kind of symbol in the viewfinder to let you know when, hey, focus is being done, and then also when a photo is being taken. I'm also partially colorblind, so I couldn't tell if the light was blinking red, orange, or red, which what it appears to be doing as it's processing photos, taking photos, and preparing from flash and stuff like that. Flash itself is actually very powerful, all things considered, but it's also very direct, and during video you can see it's really blinding in some cases. However, my last complaint is the price. For $750, you get such like a plasticky, no raw, 1080p only camera. You could get something like this, Nikon Z30, that does almost the same thing, minus the film simulations, for like 400, 500 on refurb, and you get 4K 30 raw photos, all that. It's not as compact as this, but it has a much different build, all in all. So at the end of the day, is this camera worth it? I mean, it really depends on the type of person you are. I think that if you're looking for your first camera, this may not be it for you. I think there are better and other options out there. However, if you're constantly looking for a second camera or an everyday carry camera, you want to get into film simulation, film recipes, you don't want to necessarily commit. You want to jump into Fuji and experience Fuji without breaking the bank. This is meant to be someone's first camera, but in my eyes, it's really someone's fun camera. It's their first fun camera. Like, this is the first time you get like that weekend ride. You know, it gets the job done, but it's a lot more show than go, if you will. Other than that, though, like for me, who's had all this other gear, the highest of high ends, mid-range, something this lower tier just feels fun. There's a different vibe to it. I wouldn't necessarily count it out, but I would say if this goes on sale, clearance, or even just slightly cheaper than what it is, then it's definitely a must-have, or at least something to add to the collection. At its current price point, though, I'm hesitant, to be quite honest. I think you get more bang for your buck with other cameras. But if you really need something to push you out the edge of where you're at now, this is a nice creative experience. I would love if Fuji could send me one for a longer term loan, because I think I could really do some good stuff with this. Like, the more time I spent with it and just was shooting, the more I wanted to kind of really explore and try it out. But because I had it for such a limited time, I feel like I'm hesitant still to buy it at that price. If it was cheaper on sale for maybe 200 off, then I would definitely consider it, because it's definitely more powerful, especially the sensor itself, than like the Evo Mini, but definitely not as powerful as something like the XM5. So that's where I kind of put this, you know, if I was going to spend this price range, I might as well save up and get the XT30 Mark III or something, or even a used XT30. But if this drops in price, then definitely would consider it. But that's my quick assessment, quick analysis. Like I said, Fuji, you want to call me up, you want to send me something to play with for a little bit longer, I'd be happy to do a long-term review, because I do feel like I only tapped the surface of what this camera could do. But hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of insight from someone who's been experienced with Fuji now for over a year and has come from the world like Nikon and higher end cameras to step back down to something a little bit more simplistic, something a little bit more everyday, more mom and pop. And yeah, I want more of this, but not at that price tag, at least not yet. I'm Joe. This has been MatsuXL. If you like this, go ahead, check out some of these other really cool videos. I like, subscribe, the whole YouTube stuff. It helps me, helps you. And if you end up wanting to purchase this, if I can leave some affiliate links like Amazon, that will help me. I'll leave it below. But otherwise, leave your comments, questions. What did you have? What do you want to know about this? Or what do you want to know about my experience that I didn't mention here? Leave it below. Otherwise, I'm going to go shut up and continue creating. Peace.